Hello, friends. Another edition of Gap Wedge Wednesday. It is Masters Week. The sun is shining. The azaleas are in bloom. Tradition, like any other. Welcome. We are here. We are live, boys. We are ready to go.
Yeah, we are ready to go. Pleasure
Hope
to
you
have
guys are having a good day.
Welcome
And
to great
let's get it going.
edition of Gap Wedge Wednesday.
Paulie, you're here with us. Chad, you're here with us. How are we doing today, boys?
Doing good, doing good.
Chad, you there?
Coming to you live from the I-4 corridor.
Yeah, Chad is driving on his way to work right now. So if you're out there, just send up a prayer that Chad does not crash. If you are here to look for the Uninformed fan, well, guess what? You found it. But you found one of our little spinoffs that we have that we've been doing every Wednesday. This is Gap Wedge Wednesday. Me and Tyson will be on later to discuss all things Caitlin Clark and Diana Taurasi, I'm sure. So if you're looking for your women's basketball fix, make sure to tune in when you get that next notification. If you're looking to make some fucking money, welcome to the podcast right here.
Well, let's start us off, boys. We had a good week last week. We've got a big week this week. It is Masters Week, the most riveting golf week to start off all the majors. I know it's one we all like. We've been talking about it now for the last 72 hours. What we're gonna do, who we like, what we take. But first off, I gotta give you boys your flowers and start us off with a little victory lap from last week at the Valero Texas Open. Paulie, congratulations. We picked a winner again, boys. Let's Jeff, we got to give them their victory, you know?
Absolutely. Victory lap, victory music. Once again, how many weeks in a row is this? From Jaeger now to Batia. We did shots of Jaeger the previous week. I think Chad said something about shots of Curry. I was out on that.
Same.
First and foremost, congratulations. Second of all, Paulie, I know you were traveling and you were out, so I want to start with you. What was that like coming down the stretch, and did you get any shots of Curry in afterwards?
No.
Okay.
No shots of Curry. This has been a wild start, boys. It's been a wild start. I mean, Jeff, you're wondering how many in a row that is. Well, you said Jaeger and Batia. That's 2 in a row. We're going for 3 in a row here.
Well, I didn't know if there was one before that, because I feel like
there wasn't. No, okay. We came close. Yep.
Almost hit Cam Young. He got second.
The Houston Open.
But wasn't there? There was a Puerto Rico one that week as well too. That was
Puerto Rico, I think, is on the other side of API.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
it's a month ago.
We had like 3 in the last 5 or something like that.
3 in the last 5. There we go. All right, perfect. Sounds good. Sounds good. All right, we digress. Anyway, Paul, how'd it go? How'd you feel coming down the stretch there?
Yeah, tough to watch. Danny McCarthy playing out of his mind. Can we bring Jim Nance back? He was awesome. How'd you get him?
The magic of the 3-time, my friend. Magic of the 3-time.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Yeah, so Batia goes out and shoots 9 under day 1. Great day. Feeling good. Nobody in the camp. I believe nobody in the camp. So I was out of town. I was in a place where the Hard Rock app does not work. And I did not have access to FRLs Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. So Batia, I guess no one hit on FRL there. But
no,
if you hung on long enough and you avoided the Denny McCarthy 28 on the back, 7 birdies straight, 8 out of 9, chip in on 16. Yeah, that was a mood ruiner for sure. But once Batia made the Akshay, my boy, made the putt to take it to extra holes, that changes the mindset. So Denny McCarthy and the rest of the gang, coming from that far back, are free rolling basically on a Sunday and just going out and playing easy breezy until it means something. And when it meant something, I like Denny McCarthy, great putter, seems like a solid dude. But when when the rubber hit the road, that chili dip into the little river there was a day maker. So good for us, good for you, good for everybody who tailed. 60, 65 to 1 on Batia. Was a good time. Chad, you feel the same way?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, when we talked about it a couple times the last couple days about how these golfers, they go out there, they can make any shot. I mean, like Jeff got all excited about Tommy Fleetwood and all these shot makings. They still can't shape a W, but you know who can shape a W is Akshay. He can make the shape of a W with his shots. But we were talking about Denny McCarthy just going out there. He was 9 back at the turn, I think, or 6 back at the turn. So he really had nothing to play for. He just go out there making some shots. Next thing you know, he's nice, free, just doing his thing. He's got a few birdies. Next thing you know, he's within 3, within 2, within 1. Holy shit, now we're tied. Oh shit, now we're going to a playoff. Oh, now I'm going to tighten up. It's exactly what happened to him. So, when have you ever seen a pro hit a 100-yard shot 70 yards? Not very often. But whenever the pressure's on, a lot of things happen to certain people. And Danny McCarthy proved, just like his last time he was in a playoff, he was in the lead by 1 going into 18. He bogeys it, and then he loses the playoff to Victor Hovland on the first hole. So Danny McCarthy is not a closer. He's no Nick Taylor. Put it that way.
Heard that.
I did say to you boys last night, it looked like Denny McCarthy was playing on Tiger Woods golf on the easy setting on that back 9. I mean, that's every shot dropped to 3 foot. Every shot was a straight putt, and he just made everything.
And that's the thing. These guys are the best golfers in the world. Like, they can hit any shot. Like, if they're sitting there on the range, you tell them, hey, hit a low hook, 150 yards. They could do it 8 out of 10 times. It's like they've got every shot in the bag pretty much. And when you're going out there in a tournament and you have nothing to play for, you feel like you're just playing for second, and you've already got second locked up because you're so far ahead of the other guys. You can just go out there and free will and do whatever, and there's no pressure on you. And then, it's like when you get pressure, then, oh shit, now I got to actually make this shot, and it counts. It's a totally different story,
Yeah, no, and you're exactly right. Justice says I'm looking extra thick today. I guess I'm a little heavy, just like Denny McCarthy hit that wedge shot. And Marcus, you're exactly right. Pressure either bursts pipes or makes diamonds. We saw Akshay show up in that moment. I thought that, obviously Denny McCarthy hits it in, but that putt for Akshay to make birdie with everything riding on that on 18 in regular regulation, I guess you would call it, or whatever. I thought was absolutely huge. And once he made that putt, I just felt like I was like, all right, let's fucking go, dude. Like, we've got this. I feel like now we can kind of settle in a little bit. And they, it obviously we didn't know that he popped his shoulder out and that he had to get that put back in on the celebration. But nonetheless, he goes out there and makes birdie anyway on the first playoff hole to go ahead and win. So great hit, guys. Again, we're just going to keep this train rolling just like it was last year. And yeah, congratulations.
Thank you.
It's always nice to pull off the outrights. Makes the week.
Yeah, for sure. Now we are moving on to a very familiar spot at Augusta National there in Augusta, Georgia. That it's probably, I would say, as golfers, it's probably all of our favorite tournaments. Just because we get to see this course every single year and the history that it's brought and the emotion that it's brought for a lot of us as well too, whether it be with a guy like Tiger or Phil or John Rahm winning last year in special moments. Just Paul, just a quick overview for our listeners out there about what we're expecting this week over at Augusta National.
Augusta National, Augusta, Georgia. Even the casuals know about this one, but it is a 7,545 yard, 7,545. That sounds right. Yard par 72 of some of the most beautifully manicured primary cuts. The dangerous pine straw. There is I mean, we got one after another of just picturesque. I think there are probably 5 or 6 signature holes.
Yeah.
Amen Corner is super well known. Not allowed to be said. The trap. I don't know what they call the bunkers. They call it bunkers, traps. I don't know. There's not. That's not sand.
What is it?
Quartz dust or some shit like that.
Right.
It's like the difference between
Scorpion.
Cocoa Beach and Clearwater Beach.
Okay, yeah,
Yep.
makes sense. All right,
Very
yeah.
much so.
East Coast and the
You
West
Florida-
Coast of Florida.
Yeah, you Florida boys. That way you know.
Yeah, I always say like the difference in the two coasts, obviously, and real quick, because we go off on tangents here. It's like if you go to the East Coast or if you go to the West Coast of Florida, somebody's going to recommend a nice place for you to go eat. They're going to offer you a beer. They're going to be very hospitable. You go to the East Coast of Florida, they're probably going to offer you some kind of drugs. So
Meth.
just a little, meth to be specific, but just to give people a heads up out there in case you're listening in Rhode Island or somewhere like that. Polly, back to the sand.
It's not even sand. It's the dust from a quarry in North Carolina or something like that of quartz. That's why it's so white.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Speaking of the
Yep,
landscape on it, I saw like they had like a $45 million budget, something like that. It's outrageous.
Yeah, that's probably not even the real number. And the money over there is just.
What are we
stupid
looking at
bananas.
in terms of length over here at good old Augusta National, and how penal are we looking at the rough this week?
What? 75-45?
75-45. Okay.
Yeah, it's the first thing I said twice, and then the pine straws, the stuff that's on the sides. Not a lot of rough here.
I don't ever have a problem with pine straw. I don't know about you guys, but I don't.
No, I like it.
Why? Yeah,
aim
so do I.
most
Why?
of the
Why
time.
is the pine straw something to be worried about? And from the professional opinion,
There's
Footing.
only 35 acres of second cut. So there's with 79 acres of fairway. So you're really not you don't see a lot of shots from quote unquote rough because there's not rough there. It's second cut. So primate cut, second cut. The people who come watch are not fans or spectators. They're patrons. Like they got a lot of. Oop, I might have a visitor here. They've got a lot of like different. Okay, I get it for you. Yo, Chad,
love
you
it.
want to jump onto trends?
he actually needs us to fill for 2 minutes while he gets into work and gets set up. So
Holy moly, here we go.
there is
we
that.
got 4. All right, so Jeff, you think you're good on trends? You get that that thing off of Twitter, right? The PGA split?
I can pull it up real quick. Really not an issue whatsoever. We do have a lot of trends that we're looking at.
Yeah,
some of these
if you want
things.
one thing while we're looking, right?
Yeah.
Remember when Chad said how many pro golfers hit a 100-yard shot 70 yards? Jordan Spieth did one of those here, famously, into Rays Creek, right?
Yeah.
And that's was in 19. Was that in 19 when Tiger won?
Yeah, we can.
Am I thinking about the right thing?
Well, first of all, it wasn't just Jordan. If you remember, that was Francisco Molinari, Tony Finau, and Brooks Koepka, all of them, right? On is it 14 or 15, the par 3, they all hit in the water, and Tiger just got it over, and that was his key to winning that year. So yeah, and that's a 148-yard shot or something like that. That every single one of them hit about 125 yards. So, yeah, pretty incredible. There's a lot of trends, and we're pulling this off of. I want to give credit where credit is due. First of all, and that is off of Ron Kloss, and you can follow him at PGA Splits 101 on Twitter. Got a lot of takeaways. There's a lot of different things that are for trends. I can just run through some of them, and I know that Chad has got some things that he loves. I know sometimes Paul kind of maybe goes away from the trends a little bit, or isn't really too keen on some of them. You know, I always loved the one that we had what was it, for the players, about how the past winners have all been morning tee times on Thursday, late tee times on Friday. So very interesting. But just a few things that we have here. 44 of the last 44 winners had played in at least one previous Masters tournament. That means nobody has been a rookie and come out and won this thing in the past 44 years. So take that with a grain of salt. Chad, I know there's probably a few that you like to touch on as well, too, now that you're back.
What did we get? Did we talk about more than just the 44? Or no?
Are you at the
rookies from
bank?
last- No, I had to run in and grab my Jersey Mike's real quick.
Good for you. Did you do the buy one, get one?
No,
Oh, my God, dude. What are you
I'm
guys
only
doing?
one person, bro. I
It
don't
doesn't
need all
matter.
that.
On Uber Eats, and so you can go
I
on.
don't do Uber Eats, bro. I pick it up.
Let me finish real quick, just like your wife usually says to you. When you
Whoa,
go
whoa, whoa.
on,
This is an appropriate show here.
when you go on Uber Eats, you can do buy one, get one, and you can pick it up. You don't have to pay for delivery.
Oh, well.
Yeah. So next time, just go on Uber Eats. You'll look. There's like 5 sandwiches on there that are all buy one, get one. And you boom, you just click it. You click pick up. You pay $0 on the delivery fee or anything like that. Pick it up, and it's completely free.
All right. Well, is the Italian or the Philly Big Kahuna on there?
Yes.
Okay.
Both.
All right, then.
Yeah. Anyway,
Trying that next
the
time.
only trend that I touched on so far was 44. So no rookies have won their first year on the Masters here at Augusta in almost 45 years. So I think that's a trend that we'll probably continue to stick with. People who have been here know how to play here. If you haven't been here, it's kind of a rude awakening for you sometimes.
True. One thing, though, is that I don't know if the one thing I would be worried about this year is that the quality of debutantes that are playing this year, because you got guys like Wyndham Clark, never played there. Ludwig Aubert never played there. Steven Yeager, Akshay Bhatia never played there.
How dare you mention Wyndham Clark's name?
I'm just saying, he's what, 4th in the world
Yeah.
now, and has never played Augusta. So like, that's a type of guy, and his ball flight and the way he drives the ball in his short game set up pretty perfectly for something like this. So if you're liking Wyndham Clark, don't let that steer you, I would say, because he's a guy that I feel like he could definitely win at Augusta. Maybe not the first time he sees it, but still. I mean, that is one of the things, is all the nuances of the greens and everything. It does help. That's why you probably haven't seen anybody win it. I mean, the last guy to do it was Fuzzy Zeller. If you follow golf, you know who he is. Like, that's a pretty big name as to win as a debutante, So, but it is what it is. I like to stick with trends whenever they come around. I'm not going to be taking Wyndham Clark, just so you know. I'm not going to take any debutantes either. So I'm going to stick to that trend. But
what about the second one on there? And I already gave credit to Mr. Kloss. 18 of the last 18 winners were not the betting favorite for the week.
Yeah, I mean, just like when Scotty won, it was Rory that was the favorite. Obviously, Scotty was the favorite last year when Rahm won it. I mean, you got some big names that won the last couple times, but at the time they were not the favorite. So, maybe Scotty has a baby this week and he has to withdraw, and it gives us all a chance, making more than just
that's an
4-1.
interesting thing. Yeah, that's an interesting thing that there are a few guys out there. And I don't know if this is going to deter us any one way or another, but Sam Burns, Scotty Scheffler, both have wives that are giving birth within the next 2 to 3. We could say 1 to 3 weeks. Okay, somewhere in this area. As people who have kids by ourselves, we know that it's a fluid situation, and so there is a chance that these guys, their wives go into labor and that they end up having to withdraw. Will that deter us from betting them?
I'm not going to be on them.
Okay. And then the other 2 guys, you're not on them just because, or?
Well, you're not betting Scotty Scheffler at
4-1 anyway. Yeah.
The other questions I have too are
shy of 4.
There's been 3 guys who I've heard about with recent injuries, who have something has happened. We'll go back to Akshay Bhatia and his shoulder last week. We'll go back to Jordan Spieth saying that he tweaked his wrist at the Valero last week. We can go to Minwoo Lee dropping a dumbbell on his, what was it, his finger or something like that, and fractured his finger. I saw as well that was reported by Barstool, Daniel Rappaport, one of Paul's favorite follows on Twitter. If you get a chance to check him out. Any of these swaying your decisions on who to take and who not to take this week?
Well, the good thing about all these guys that are injured or having babies or anything is I'm not going to be on any of them anyway.
Okay.
So, just not even because of that, because course history, stuff like that. Scotty, I mean, obviously his odds are too low for me to even worry about. I would rather get a guy at a top 20 for 5-1 than taking Scotty to win the whole freaking thing. You know, just that's the thing. Like, I love Scotty as a golfer, but I just can't make money off of him because he's
If
too
you're
fucking
setting
good.
a DFS lineup, though, let's just say, for instance, you're only playing, and for those people out there listening that may do DraftKings or FanDuel or something like that, would these type of things steer you away from putting those players in your lineup?
I mean,
No.
yeah.
No. Okay.
Me and Paul never
No,
agree on shit, so.
Which
Well,
is great.
Here's. Let me give you the philosophy.
Sure.
If it scares people away in a DraftKings,
I think we just lost Paul. Oh, he's back.
the benefit. So
Where'd he go?
Yeah, he's back. We got him back.
All right.
So if I have a golfer who I believe can do well but has risk, and general public Joe Bag of Donuts, aka
Me.
Chad the Better, like the other day we were talking about opening day of baseball, and I said I bet Chad's going to be on some unders for opening day because of aces. I mean, we're not talking about deep dives here. So yeah, oh no, I see a question mark next to, if you stayed off of Hideki last week because of the question mark, did you benefit or did you get got? So let's talk about injuries at the Masters. Does anybody remember 2018 when Finau made the hole in one on the par 3 and rolled his ankle?
Completely dislocated his ankle.
Yeah, it didn't look good, did it?
He still went out, and I think
Finished
he finished
T10.
top,
T10.
Yeah, I thought it was top 5 for some reason.
T10.
But yeah.
T10. So golfers and injuries. Jason Day reports his back's not feeling well. Wins the tournament. I mean, we're not talking about injury designations that are real, as far as like, oh, this guy's questionable, doubtful, probable, whatever it is. So I wouldn't let it steer you in any direction as far as DFS. Now, don't put your entire bankroll on one of these guys.
Right.
Be bet responsibly. This is for entertainment only.
The baby thing is a little different, though.
No, the baby thing's exactly the same. They're both 1 week out, and they both said that they would leave the event if not. Scotty Scheffler has as good a chance to win this thing as anyone, probably times 3. He's won here before. He's the best golfer on the planet right now by a lot. Asterisks. We'll get to that. And if you think that he's going to leave when he's in the lead at the Masters, you're probably right, because that's the kind of dude he is.
Yeah.
So whatever it is. But how much are you going to lay on him? At 4-1, south of 4-1. So go bananas. Take your risk, but it's the same risk that he goes out and turns his ankle because he made a par 3 hole in one and doesn't finish the event because of that. So I wouldn't take all the injuries with a grain of salt and bet the numbers. Try to be different and differentiate in GPPs, play the Chad lineups in cash games, and be popular, because chalk hits and you win 50-50s that way. So, but let's not overdo these things. And the answer to the question is, would I have Scotty Scheffler in a lineup? Yes. And how do you get him into the lineup? And there are plenty of guys sub 7,000 on DraftKings that make sense. I think Minwoo Lee is a value this week in both the betting market and on DFS. He has the type of game he does. We'll get to why, I guess, later, but the certain things that are important here, because we didn't really talk about all the trends, but there are a couple things that are very important, and I know Chad has at least one or two that make a lot of sense. So I'll stop yapping and let somebody else speak.
Chad, what kind of trends are we looking at?
Did we even do any freaking trends? We did one, I think, right?
We did like two, I think, which is what we did, which was the rookie one, and then also the what was the other one? It was the rookies haven't performed well here. And
Not the betting favorite.
The betting favorite,
the
yeah,
betting
as well.
favorite, yeah.
That's how we got on to Scotty.
Okay. All right, so let's get back to business here. So another one is the last 10 winners have all been in the top 30 in the official world golf ranking.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not going to have any guys just coming out of nowhere like you do like these last couple tournaments. You're going to know who you're looking at. 8 of the last 10 have played in the Masters at least 3 times the last 3 years. 7 of the 10 have a previous top 5 at the Masters. So you're going to get guys that have actually played there well before they can actually pull it off. Another one is that 8, the shocking one for me is 8 of the last 10 winners were not in the top 10 the year before. That's kind of shocking to me. Like, it's like you don't play well the year before, but then you come back and you can win. But you've also had a top 5 before in the last, it's just one of these things. It's like, Augusta's weird, man. And that was the one that got me. And then as far as odds go, the last 10 years, the average odds to win here was 39.1. And that's with 3 guys that were at 70-1. So in the 3 guys that were 70-1 were Hideki, before everyone knew that he was a great ball striker, and no Japanese golfer had ever won the Masters before that. So, no one was really big on him. Another one was Bubba Watson before he was a major winner. Like, all he could win was Riviera, which, I mean, if you look back now, it all makes sense because Riviera is a correlating course. Because in the last 10 years, 5 guys have won Riviera and the Masters. So that's a big thing now that people didn't know back then.
Which Hideki won this year?
Exactly. And Will Zalatoris was number 2. So good form at that course correlates over. Maybe we're looking into some things there that might benefit us.
Heard that. All right. Any other trends you got that you had of note?
I got the main ones out there that I feel like are important. So, I'm good with
I did
that.
want to touch on, I know something that you guys love to talk about before we get into our picks real quick. Because, we are having a little extended version. Obviously, this is one of our Super Bowls. So we're going to take our time today. But the live golfers that are being presented into the fold here. And, you can take, there's all kinds of stuff you can bet on Hard Rock and different stuff like that. But just your thoughts on some of the live players, who's got a shot, who's in form, who looks like they're just, have no idea what's going on.
Paul, you want this right first or me?
I think I always love your live takes the best. So why don't you start and then I'll clean it up.
Well, here's the thing about the Masters and live. There's some guys on live that are Masters horses. So it's a lot different for me it's a lot different take for me on the Masters because I am going to have probably upwards of close to $50 at least on Patrick Reed because the value for him is so stupid.
It's crazy.
He won in 2018. He's had 2 top 5 since then, I believe, or in that period. It's at least 10, top tens. Like, and he's 90-1. And I feel like his short game is never going to leave. He's got the short game for Augusta. He knows the course, obviously. So it's a guy. And then Dustin Johnson's at 45-1. Like, and he's won here before too. Granted, it was in November, so the course played a little different, but still, he knows the course. He's won here. He's a major winner. Like, it's like these guys say they're still good. They still play, and then I feel like they might just dick around on live while they're playing these stupid little 54-hole bullshit. But when it comes down to it, like you saw Brooks Koepka last year, he grinded. He was there, but I think his mentality, like he'd been playing on live for a little while then, so he only played those 54 holes, and he kind of lost it the last, or maybe he was playing with Patrick Cantlay. I don't know. It could have been that, but, or, who knows what happened for him. But here's the thing is that he's still a great golfer. He still won 5 majors. Like, they got that pedigree that they can turn it on when they want to, I feel like. And like Dustin, when he lost, he was doing great at I want to say it was the U.S. Open last year. Then he just kind of lost it on a hole and then kind of never really gained it back. And I know that when they talked to him after, like, he talked about that and he's like, I just got to grind harder and I'm going to win another major. And what better time to do it than, another green jacket for someone like Dustin? Because I feel like he's got the game to win anywhere, but he's proven he can win a Masters. He's proven he can give you the big boys. So those are 2 guys that I'm definitely going to be on. Some guys I don't like, I know Paul's on board with me on this one, is like someone like Joaquin Niemann. Everyone's talking him up so much. He's going to have so much. He's like, for some reason, they're all calling, like, they're acting like he's the live big dog for this one this year. Like, why? He's not won a major. I mean, yeah, granted, he's kicking everyone's ass on live, but that's maybe because he's the young kid, the only one really trying to win at live. That's, I mean, I don't get it, but I would honestly fade him. But that's my take on some live there. I'm going to send it to Paul now.
Yeah, that was very close to parallel as to my take as well. There are several players that are on live that will be at the champion dinner, having tapas, and
They were last night, right?
That was last night, yeah.
Yeah, and Birico pork, and
It looked like Phil probably wasn't hungry. That's all I'm gonna say.
He just had a cup of coffee.
Yes.
Bro.
He had the sniffles.
Wide-eyed and bushy-tailed. I'll say that, dude. It was a wild look.
Man, I'll tell you what, dudes, like, we know it's documented that dude gambled, right? Like, not gambled, like,
Gave
Yeah.
away money.
Yeah.
that was a Michael Jordan-esque problem he had.
Yeah.
So it's crazy how, like, a guy cleans up one part of his life and just immediately goes to another vice. And this guy chose coffee. What?
Yeah.
Coffee?
Coffee.
I mean, you just tell people I'm hype up because of this coffee I'm selling, and they're like, "Oh, that makes a lot of sense. Coffee's
from Colombia."
Phil's 52 years old.
Those cocoa beans.
And he needs a little pep in his step.
Yeah,
He's
whatever.
getting old.
How's Phil doing?
I
Not
do want to
bad.
ask.
And they're done drug testing on Sunday, so you can go out and shoot 7 under and come in second. Oh wait, I didn't say that, did I?
There's a few things I think are interesting here. Obviously, the John Rahm narrative, I feel like, has been kind of beaten to death by the national media that's there covering and that normally cover the PGA Tour. And I don't know. I look at a guy like John Rahm. It looks like his game fits so well, and obviously he won last year, so we're not thinking that he will repeat because nobody repeats really at Augusta. But there's probably a little extra motivation and a little kick in the ass for him as well too, with these guys talking shit about him. I feel like, and the other thing is too is like them putting Brooks with Brian Harman. I think is a very interesting matchup. Everybody's very worried about it from Brooks' standpoint because we know how irritated he gets with guys who play slow, and with Brian Harman doing the, put it down, waggle, 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 waggle. Do you think that's
17
gonna have?
times.
Yeah. Do you think that's gonna have any effect on Brooks at all?
No.
No, because here's the thing. Brian Harmon, even though he does all that, he doesn't play slow. Like,
That's right.
it doesn't
Right.
take him forever to decide what he's going to do. Like, I remember just watching Patrick Cantley a few weeks ago, and it took him fucking 3-4 minutes to decide what fucking club he's going to hit when he knew exactly what club he was going to hit the whole fucking time.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, grab the fucking 7-iron and hit it. It's the perfect shot. That's all you got. Do it. And then, but like, that's the thing, Brian Harmon, he knows what he's going to hit most of the time before he even gets up there because he already knows the yardage he's going to have. And then like, when he steps up to the ball, then yeah, it takes 14, 15 waggles, whatever you call them. And then he hits it. But still, he doesn't play slow. That's the thing. So I don't think it's going to be a problem at all.
All
I
right,
love
let's have one quick tangent, okay, and talk about this slow play thing. Right? We talked about it. We talked about Patrick Cantlay being in the last group and how nobody's behind him, so he's not holding anybody up. But he doesn't understand how to pace it anymore because nobody's pushing him and he's not going to be put on the clock because he can be a hole behind, right? What's the reason Patrick Cantlay ostensibly is one of the best players in the world, right? He's won on the tour. He's not yet won a major. If he's ever going to, who knows, whatever. But there's a couple things that do circle Patrick Cantlay. Remember all the controversy at the Ryder Cup about wearing the hat and why doesn't he wear the hat?
You got a big ass head.
Yeah, it doesn't fit. I didn't wear it at the last one. I didn't wear it at the President's Cup. I don't wear hats. Well, you wear a hat on tour, and why do you wear a hat on tour?
Money.
Because there's a logo on the front of it or a name or whatever, and somebody's paying you to do that. Well, if you do take an extra 35 seconds on television to take a shot, who benefits from that? Not the guys
Sponsors.
behind you.
The sponsors
do. Right. They get more airtime. So,
Wow.
DeWalt, baby.
Maybe it's strategic. And it's not strategic in gamesmanship. It's strategic in business. Just a theory. It's not big. It's nothing I'd hang my hat on, pun intended. But what I'm going to say is there are reasons that guys do what they do on the course. There's reasons some guys play fast. There's reasons some guys, I like to play fast, but I like to play fast at the ball.
Yeah.
I don't mind chilling, having a conversation on the walk back to the cart, but get to the ball, hit your shot. Now, there are guys who are completely the opposite. They want to run back to the cart, get to the ball, and then hem and haw over, oh, well, I could beat this, I could go this, or this, talk to the caddy for 3 days, Wyndham Clark lining up his caddy with the putter and everything else. I mean, all of that's a thing. So do I think that Brian Harmon and his style of play is going to affect Brooks Koepka in a major? No. What do I think is going to affect Brooks Koepka in a major? Where he hits his ball, course conditions. That's it. That dude shows up 4 times a year and plays as good as anybody in the world. So we're talking about one of the best major players of this generation.
Right.
I think he's the alpha now. And doesn't he have the most of, other than Tiger, obviously? Like, but like of the generation that came out, like the so-called
He's
young
got
guys.
5.
Yeah, five's the number. I think he's tied with Rory at 5.
Yeah, and Rory, I don't even know if Rory's really in his generation.
It's tough. I think Rory is the very beginning of that generation.
I would call Brooks the alpha.
I think Brooks is the alpha over Rory in terms of like being a person, but I mean, I don't know. That'd be a tough golf.
Put it this way:
that's such a sexy take, yeah.
If I'm betting my life on someone to win a major, it's gonna be Brooks Koepka over fucking Rory McIlroy. I'll tell you that.
I like him better. He seems more fun, and he doesn't have a funny accent like a little leprechaun.
Not at all. Not at all.
Talking about he sounds more fun because he might have gave Phil that little baggie, or I mean, whatever coffee.
You think he's his coffee supplier?
Maybe you never know.
I do think he peddles beans. I would say that. Yeah,
it's a wild take.
Bean peddler.
I mean, obviously, I have a connection to Brooks because of FSU, so
Loves hockey.
Whatever.
Loves the hockey. I do have a
Yeah,
couple
that-
numbers for you guys. If that I was looking at, we talk about the live golfers. From last season, you got Rahm first, Koepka second, Phil second, Reed fourth, Cantley 14th, Neiman 16th. Varner and Johnson were the only two outside the top 30. But can they make another run like they all did last year? I mean, this was last year was their swan song of saying, "Hey, it's us versus you guys," and I think they performed pretty well. Can they do it again?
Did you say Cam Smith?
Oh, I missed Cam Smith. I apologize.
Do you know why you missed Cam Smith?
Because he missed the cut.
You didn't scroll down far enough.
What about
You gotta
DJ? Where was DJ?
Keep going and
DJ
tell
was
me all about the
48th.
live guys who didn't make the weekend.
All right, so then
I know. I just saw the guys that made the cut. I'm sorry, I didn't go through everybody else. I just
Here's
went through the
another
guys that
thing.
made the cut.
How'd Sergio play?
those guys you said in the top 10,
+7. Yeah.
they're all horses for this course. Like,
Yeah.
they all finished. They all got probably at least 3 top 10s, and 1, 2, 3 of them that you said had wins. So
Yeah, the top 3 all had wins. Yeah. Rahm, Koepka, and Phil.
yeah, so like that's what I'm saying. Like, the Masters is the course
And Reed,
that these live guys
And
are
Reed.
going to show up.
2018.
Yeah, Patrick Reed got one too. So
There
Very-
is a
Very good at golf.
everyone hates him. I love having him in a DFS lineup because everyone hates him and won't take him and won't want
Right.
to root for him. That's where you
And-
get your value.
if you're looking for value, you're talking about it has on here on Hard Rock. You have top live golfer as well too, and you're looking at Patrick Reed at what? That's 13 plus 1,300.
13-1.
So 13-1 as the top
Top
live golfer. Yeah, I don't mind that at all. You know,
Yeah, no, not at all.
I think it's a ridiculous number. So, I mean, Tyrell Hatton's ahead of him. Cam Smith's ahead of him.
Oh,
Hatton
fade the
hates
shit
this
out of
place.
Hatton. Fade the shit out of Hatton.
Yeah,
Hatton's on record as saying how much he hates this place.
Yeah.
If you have any matchup with Hatton that is a decent golfer on the other side, take the other golfer.
All right. Well, we did spend the first 43 minutes just talking about nothing, but we didn't talk about any picks yet. So I do want to get in. I'm sure the people out there are chomping at the bit to try to get some picks in as well. Paul, we're gonna go ahead and start with you. We're looking at the top of the board here, looking at numbers. Who do we like at the top of the board to go ahead and come out, play well, and possibly win the Masters this year?
Yeah, so first I want to say hey to the people. Thanks for chomping at the bit and being patient with us. It's a good time. I'll be making myself a pimento cheese sandwich tomorrow. And
Perfect.
That's
And
what your picture is today.
that's right. That's right. The Abbey is it's not a burrito because if they don't serve burritos at Augusta National, you got egg sandwiches. Check out that menu. Anyway, the guy at the top of the board for me will be Xander Schauffele. I think I mentioned him last week. He is arguably after Scotty. You can argue Wyndham. But I think Xander has played consistently as well as anybody over the course of this season, and
I'm
he
shocked.
has shown well at Augusta in the past. He does all the things that we want to do. One trend I thought Chad was going to mention, or not trend, but stat, is par 5 scoring. And in order to win here at Augusta, you have to do well on the par 5s. So
I never got to stats. I didn't know we were doing. I thought I was just doing trends. My bad, guys.
it's all right, buddy. Enjoy that Italian.
You damn right I will.
We got me at Xander Schauffele at the top of the board. I have access to an 18-1. 13-1 is a little slim, but if you think a guy's going to win, you got to go for it. So I like Xander Schauffele at the top.
I'm shocked, first of all, because we have talked for a long time about how our boy Rory McIlroy was gearing up this entire year to come out and play the Masters, and I thought we were in lockstep here.
Yeah,
Doesn't do that. He does that every year. And how many green jackets he got?
Okay,
So if we're talking about these are two different things we're talking about, Jeff. Rory currently sits at what, 9-1 on Hard Rock?
Yeah, 9.
Okay. So would I love for Rory to win, finish the career Grand Slam, and retire, which I think he will do.
You think he'll retire after he wins the Masters?
With an
I
asterisk.
I think if he wins the Masters without Taylor Gooch in the field, he will. This will be it for like consistently competitive seasons. He'll go into like the Tiger Woods retirement plan. That's my. He's a billionaire. He doesn't need to play professional golf anymore. He'll do the TGL. He'll have business in golf. But yeah, I think he wants to. He's already done. This is it. I agree with you. I think he has been gearing up for this. I think last week was a tune-up, and I do think he has as good a chance as anybody, physically, to wear a green jacket at the end of the week. But we're talking about a Masters card that's going to include 6 guys north of 50-1, and I'm not throwing a huge bit on Rory for the feel-good story. So it's a betting show. It's not a feeling show.
All right. Love it. Love it. Chad, top of the board, Hideki Matsuyama, and why?
Because he is on fire right now. You get Hideki in runs like this, you stay on him because he's more than likely going to win or at definitely top 5, top 10s. You look at what he's done the last few weeks. It's amazing. Like 7th, 6th, 12th, 1st. Like that's what Hideki does. He plays very well in streaks. He's healthy right now, so you gotta stick to it. His last 4 outings at the Masters. The last 4 outings, 3 top 20s, a win, and then he took a 32nd in the middle or before that, but then 19, 11, 7, 5. So he's got 8 top 20s in his last 9 starts at the Masters. Why do you not back that at 22? Like, I don't understand how his price is so high, but it's because the Scotty effect, the Rory effect. They know what they're doing. They're trying to get some people off of those guys. But, Hideki is a guy that I feel like can easily win here. And another guy that I've got access to 28-1 is Jordan. Jordan north of 20 at Augusta is a must bet, I feel like. I don't know if anyone else feels that way, but
100%.
This is his course that he fucking loves, other than Colonial, which is at home. So, that's Jordan north of 20 at Augusta is a must play.
The wrist injury doesn't bother you at all?
Like Paul said earlier about the injuries, I'm not going to go back to that.
I know. I don't know if an ankle and a wrist.
Some of these guys, I feel like some of these guys play better because they're thinking about that rather than golf. Look at what was it, the Open? Tom Kim rolled his ankle after round 1. He was like +4, and then he rolled his ankle, so he had to like sit there and be cautious on it, and he ends up finishing 2nd at like 6 under or whatever it was. I don't know what the score was, but
you were kind of breaking up. I didn't hear the name that you were mentioning.
Tom Kim, the Open.
Okay, gotcha.
He was like +4 after day 1. Apparently, like he rolled his ankle at his house he was staying at that night. So he comes in round 2, didn't even know he was going to play, but then he shoots stupid like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and finishes 2nd at the Open.
Tiger Woods won a major on one leg.
Yeah, like when you take these guys, their mindset off of golf, then they don't think about golf. They just play it.
Did DJ win the year that he fell down the stairs?
No,
he had to withdraw.
Withdraw.
Did he withdraw? Okay.
Yeah, stairs are a hell of a drug.
Yeah, the coffee hit him too hard.
Yeah, he was drinking coffee before the testing.
Guy was having nose beers at crack of dawn. Anyway, moving on. All right, Jordan Spieth, Hideki Matsuyama. We obviously have Xander Schauffele from Paul. Anybody else top of the board that we were looking at, boys?
I guess it depends on what we consider top and what numbers you're looking at.
We'll go. Let's move on to go into I guess more middle of the pack would be 30 and over, right?
Sure.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
So
works.
Yep.
anybody, we'll go with Paul to start. Anybody 30 and over that we're looking at.
Again, line shopping gets us the difference of I'm looking at one book here shows Bryson at 30 and one Bryson at 50. I hate Bryson at 30. I can bet Bryson at 50. So those are the differences in those things. Guys that I actually like in that range. Chad already mentioned Dustin Johnson at 40 or 45.
Yeah.
We're both on Sahith. He mentioned him last week. That's 40 or 55, depending on what you're looking at. And a guy who I have, I don't know, some kind of weird memory about. Every time somebody asks if Jason Day's ever won a Masters, I always say yes, and then I get corrected. But I like Jason Day at 50. I think that's a decent bet. I show him at as high as 80. So I would say that's kind of my mid-range, and I figure mid-range stops at about 90 to 1. So
Sure.
I think those names probably are where I land for that category. I know Chad probably has a couple.
Yeah, a guy that I really like, talked about him earlier, Riviera. He finished second. He's finished second and sixth here previously. Had to withdraw his last time out because of a back injury, but Will Zalatoris is coming through. He's playing some good golf right now. He's at 40 to 1. Make sure you guys are also betting these guys top 5, 10, 20, whatever you feel, because to cover your bet on the outrights, because these guys, they have a pedigree where they finish top 10, top 20 consistently. So don't lose out on just betting outrights. Like, cover your ass on these, and that way you don't lose your bankroll just betting outrights, because there's money out there to be made on these spot or positions. Another guy that I don't know where his number is going to be at in the end, but I've seen it as low as 40, and up to 80 is Russell Henley. He finished fifth here last year.
Great pick.
He's playing great golf right now. His short game is kind of iffy, but I mean, he proved last year that he can hang with these guys at Augusta. He's always going to be in the fairway. His approach game is amazing. So as long as his putter doesn't fail him too bad, he's another guy that can stick in there, hang with these guys. And another guy that for some reason always plays majors well, plays hard courses well, is Cam Young. I don't feel like he's going to win, but at 40 to 1, it's great value in a top 10. So like, he's always up there. It seems like when it comes to majors. I don't know what it is about this guy, but he's got the game for it. He's long off the tee, great approach. Just as his short game's not great, but he gets by with it. So and it's one of these things, like these guys that play majors well. It's just a different type of pedigree.
Gotcha. Jeremy, any whatabouts that you have before we get to long shots?
I mean, these guys have already mentioned all the ones I wanted to talk about. I've already got. I'm looking at my my Hard Rock app right now. My bets already. I got Jason Day. I've got Hideki. I've got him a couple times. I went on Sahith last week before even before the Valero. I took Akshay just because you never know. Just threw
Lefty.
a couple shekels there. But Jason Day, yeah, and then I got DJ in there too. But the one thing I did want to talk about, and you said you were super surprised about Xander Schauffele. He came out and said this week that this golf course is firmer than it's ever been. He said that balls are tomahawking over the greens. So I mean, they're saying par might be the way to go. It might not be a 12, 14 under. It might be 2, 3 under wins it this year.
Here's the one thing though about, I never got into the weather. It's supposed to rain for about 2 to 3 hours on Thursday to soften it up. Granted, whenever it comes down to it, at the end, it'll probably firm up again because that's the only precipitation they're supposed to get this week. So Thursday might be a Thursday's gonna be big. I feel like you gotta have to get off to a quick start to hang in there. Because speaking of trends, the last 8 winners have all been in the top 10 after round 1. So that's the thing. Like you get off to a fast start here, and I feel like especially like the early guys going out because you don't. There's only 89 guys in the field, so and they go off 3-ball. So you're gonna have guys. They don't start off teeing off until like 10 a.m. So it's not these early tee offs like normal. So
What time is the rain supposed to happen?
like 11, 10 and 11 is gonna start. So right when the early
got-
guys are going out. But that's the thing. Like rain doesn't really affect these guys. It actually just kind of makes it easier for them because it softens up the course. It's the
Yeah,
wind that really gets them. So
But I'm trying to think of FRL wise, because then you're
Yeah.
gonna have the afternoon. If the afternoon gets pushed back,
Mm-hmm.
they'll be finishing in the morning. Actually,
Yes, listen to Chief Meteorologist Jeff Cook.
Friday
dude.
morning.
You got it.
I'm just trying to think ahead.
No,
The only
you're
what
absolutely
about?
right.
Yeah, I don't know. Just a thought.
No,
it's a good thought, Jeffrey.
Those are the things when you're thinking about FRL. You got to figure. Look, if it's
Yep.
going to pour, and some of these guys aren't going to finish their second 9, not the
Yeah.
back 9 at Augusta National, second 9.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to finish their second 9 on
Friday
morning.
Friday morning.
What's that going to look like? What's the
Right.
course condition they're going to be? So do
Remember
they get
back
to play
when?
Amen Corner on soft conditions?
Yeah, just like remember when we had Shane Lowry on that rain delay, and then Eckroad was just throwing darts the next day. Got to think about that kind of stuff right there for
he had all
FRLs.
that time. He had all that time to think about his lead and what he
All
was going
right,
to wear
whatever,
when he
dude.
won.
My what
Yeah,
about was going to be Bryson DeChambeau. I don't know why I kind of had him circled. Seems to be in a good
That guy-
headspace.
That guy can
But
get punched in the face at 30 to 1. He can get punched in the face at 50 to 1. He can get punched in the face at 100 to 1. I hate
Yeah,
that guy.
that's the thing. Nobody wants to bet him either. So it's like,
This is a field that actually has a guy that Chad hates more than the guy I'm shocked Jeff didn't mention. And I didn't mention him specifically to let Jeff mention him. But I
Who,
am going to
Exactly.
mention him now. Justin Thomas.
yeah,
Justin Thomas. The only thing Justin Thomas hasn't done well in the last month and a half is putt. He lost 7 strokes putting one day. I mean, Will Zalatoris had his worst putting day of his life. And these are the reasons that these guys haven't been on the top of the leaderboard. But ball striking wise, par 5 scoring, tee to green, these guys have been great. So Chad mentioned Zalatoris, who I like a lot here, has great strokes gain numbers at Augusta that we get access to. And JT is always like this place. I think JT's a great bet this week. And a guy who's flying way under the radar because normally he'd be in that 25 range, and you can get him.
he's 40.
I'm looking at a 50. Yesterday when I looked at Hard Rock, he was 30. So he's drifting a little. I mean,
Well,
I'd let it wait until just before tee off and hop on him because he'll probably drift to 45.
One person who is just absolutely moved egregiously, in my opinion, who we haven't mentioned, who is the elephant in the room anytime that he tees it up at a tournament, and who is going to garner most of the attention as well, is one Tiger Woods.
No bones about it.
I think when he first opened, it was 150 to 1. I'm looking at 100 to 1 now. That's a crazy move.
Well, here's the thing, because Zalatoris played around with him. Couples played around with him. Said, "Oh, he's hit the ball better than I've never seen him hit the ball this good." Like,
right. Well, you weren't around.
Yeah.
To
Okay,
see him hit the
stroke
ball
him
that
up,
good
guys.
back then, but yeah, it's all what we always hear every year with Tiger as well too, right? Is like, oh, he's in great form, he's ready to go. I was about to bet Paul the other night about just a straight up gentleman's agreement on whether Tiger makes the cut or not. Paul, I know you wanted the other way. I know you did. You wanted no cut made. I was with cut made. Any thoughts on the man himself, the absolute legend of the game, Tiger Woods, this week, Paul?
Yeah, back to the Rory conversation. It's not a heart bet, it's a head bet. I want Tiger to win. I don't want him to miss the cut. I want Tiger to wear another green jacket. I want him to break the records. I want to watch the best guy that's ever played get all the credit in the world for being the best guy that's ever played. And I just don't know. It really is going to depend on where the cut number is. I'm looking at a prop bet of over under 76 for his first round. So nobody
I would
knows
take
better
the
than
under on that.
nobody. You would, because you like Tiger Woods and it makes you feel good. The same reason that kids who grow up in Chicago still wear Michael Jordan underwear.
Whoa.
It's a heartbeat thing. It's a fandom thing. It's the guy that we saw wear red shirts on Sunday, and
Patrick Reed?
Change the game. Influence all these young kids that we bet on now to come out and play golf. But has he done it recently? Has he been able to put 36 holes together? And he's going to need to. Nobody knows the course better than Tiger.
Right.
No, no one has had as much success as Tiger since Tiger at this course. So what can you say? Would I love to see him make the cut? Yes. Do I think it's a smart bet? Not really. Would I make a couple friendly wagers at the bar about if he's going to make the cut or not? I'm not going to the books to bet Tiger.
I think it will be interesting too to see his driver length and how he's able to compete with these guys. What? Why do you look at me like that, Jeremy?
He'll be fine.
Anyway,
obviously, there was a Drake reference or anything,
we don't have a lot of.
In 2019, when he won, round 4, did he not even hit a driver? So
no, didn't even.
Yeah, they said he was hitting his 3-wood about 260, 270 off the tee in the practice round. So
yeah, so if he could do that again, just keep it in the fairway, maybe, but he's got to get to Sunday first.
I know this is a tough course for longer shots, but is there anybody that we have that are super long that we're thinking might have a chance? Just because the cream usually rises to the crop here. I mean, we're talking about top 30 is 23 of 24 or something like that. Any thoughts about longer shots, Paul?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of value in matchup markets as well as like T10, T20 markets. We're showing Patrick Reed at 90, Siwoo Kim at 100, Adam Scott at 150, Sergio at 135. A guy.
Chris Kirk is another guy at 150.
Yeah, 150.
Century out in Hawaii is another correlating course. Like there's a bunch of crossover winners. So Chris Kirk won there this
Harris
year.
English.
Century. So here's two things with Chad, and how much I love Augusta National corollary course conversation.
I know there's no other course. I'm just saying the cross. I'm not saying it's like a course like this is the same. I'm saying the crossover winners. People have won both at Augusta and Century.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm saying. There's no other fucking course like Augusta. We know this.
But what I want to point out is that the leaderboards and the guys who win are the same at those places. But the Century is the tournament of champions. It's a small field and it's guys who win events.
Yeah.
Riviera is normally won by guys who play well on tour. It's a big boy event. So that's what I'm saying. It's not that it's not that information is wrong. It's the reason for it. It's not because Century Tournament of Champions is played at a similar course that Augusta is, or the grass on the greens is different. Oh, by the way, it's bent grass this week for the first time in forever. Frozen reference. So
For the first time.
The reason that you see the same names at the top is because these are the best players in the world. Century is the Tournament of Champions. It's the best players in the world. Riviera is always it's best players in the world win there. So the guys at the top at Augusta, it's not a no-name event. Even when Danny Willett won, he was steaming on the DP World Tour. his number went from 175 when it opened to Chad jumping on it from a tip from Pat Mayo and Jeff Feinberg. Shout out Pat Mayo, Pat Mayo experience. Pat Mayo and Jeff Feinberg got us into this. So it was 50-1. So his number got slashed throughout that whole week. But it's not no names. This is won by guys. There's 3 type of guys that win. There's all-stars, top elites, Tigers, Roms, Scotties. There are grinders that win, that are Patrick Reeds, Zach Johnsons, Bubba Watsons, and then there are the guys who get the right break, and that's the Willets and the guys who happen to have, the number was 4 under, and the weather went right, and their game fit that week. So Chad will tell you about the guys that are longer and the reasons, but the corollary courses are this course tests golf. It's a hard walk, it's hard golf, and it's probably the most mentally challenging event of the year.
Chad, with that being said, who do we have for our longer shots that we're looking at? Just because we got to get to some FRLs too before we head out of here, and we're running over.
Like, other than the few that Paul mentioned there, you were mentioning Harris English. I do like Harris English. He's playing good golf.
Mm-hmm.
Plays majors well. He likes harder golf courses. Nick Taylor, he's proven that he can handle the mental aspect of this game. He won a couple of big tournaments lately. Waste Management, that was a big one. Came from like 2 back with 3 holes to play, and then won on like the 3rd or 4th playoff hole. So he's got the mentality. Taylor Moore, he's deceptively longer than people think as far as his off the tee, and his short game has gotten really better. So he's a guy who he was in the top of the leaderboard last year and then just had a bad Sunday. So if he can right that ship, he can cash a top 10, top 20. And then other than Chris Kirk, I feel like Sung JM has a good record here. I can understand if somebody just wants to stick with horse for the course. He's got a great record here, but he's playing like shit right now. But there's been a couple guys that, just John Rahm last year, he played great for the first 2 months, then was pretty bad for like a month, and then came out and won. So it might just be like a gust to get your blood flowing again and get back to your A game. So if I wouldn't be mad if somebody like Sung JM this week. So other than that, that's pretty much all I got.
Perfect. Jeremy, you want to give us a rundown on who we had just to put a bow on it for outrights?
For our outrights, we've got Hideki, Jordan, and Xander at the top. Middle, which is 30 plus, Willie Z, Russell Henley, Cam Young, Bryson, Dustin Johnson, Heath Thegala, Jason Day, Justin Thomas. Some long shots to look at, Chris Kirk, Patrick Reed. Those are just a couple of the guys that they were talking about. There's a couple others, but they're long numbers.
Nick Taylor, Taylor Moore, Harris English as well too. All fun little sprinkles on there as well. That being said, we'll move on to first round leaders. Paul, anybody you got to take it home tomorrow?
The first round leader from way out, that guys we didn't say. Luke List is a guy who gets out quick. There are not too many other guys deep. Let's see. Jaeger.
Yeah.
The longer shots there. You're going to get top of the board guys with better odds to go out early and play fast. Like Scotty, I think we were mentioning he might be like 11-1 first round. So if you think he's going to go and have a great day, first day out, maybe he's your guy. Other than that, I've got a couple other special markets that if Chad's got some FRLs that I'll get into.
FRLs, Chad?
Guys I do like. Sung JM again. He's had 2 top 5 FRLs. He's actually led here before after the first round. Jordan Spieth has had 3 FRLs out of 10 events here. So he's another guy that can get out there quick. Justin Rose, he's actually 40% of the time he's played here, he's been in the top 5 in the first round, and he's led after the first round before also. He might be a little deeper. Cam Young usually gets off to a fast start. Maybe look at a guy like Adam Hadwin. He's played well at the beginning of tournaments in his heyday also. So maybe those few guys would be some decent bets. And if you can find some guys that we spoke about that a little earlier, that you can throw a couple bucks on them, maybe make 100 or a couple hundred off of them too. So if they're playing well on Thursday.
I got one. If you're looking for a super long shot, Matthew Pavon. He's been having a good season this year, and I don't know. I just have a feeling he's going to come out and play pretty well tomorrow. Plus, he's got one of those kind of like in between later tee times where he might actually finish with a delay. So yeah, he might be able to take advantage of some docile weather and some easy pins to fire at as well too.
I also threw a couple shekels on Patrick Cantlay for a first round later for some reason. Don't know why.
I just don't like the guy. Paul, you said you got some other specials you want to touch on before we head out of here?
If you don't mind, like laying a lot of lumber, hole in one on Hard Rock is minus 225, and I can't remember the last time the Masters didn't have a hole in one. It happens every year. There's always a hole in one. I don't know. Check that. Fact check. But I don't know. That seems like a crazy number for something that happens a lot.
Minus 225 right now.
That wasn't the fact I was looking for.
I know.
When's the last time they didn't have a hole in one? But
No.
do your own research. It's for entertainment purposes only.
He said
don't
true.
Don't take my word as gospel. And the other one that I thought would be on here that isn't is the top debutante. And I have seen some books that have.
I have top amateur.
Yeah, that's not going to help you.
Nope.
It's like Hagstad and somebody else, Stuart Hagstad.
Some leopard cat or something.
Christo Lemprick.
Lemprick, yeah. Leprechaun. Yeah, I like him.
Yeah. But debutante, Nikolai Højgaard is not going to get a lot of talk because of Wyndham Clark being his first time and Akshay just being, on top of mind. Jaeger just won recently, so he's going to be up there. But Højgaard plays really, really well tee to green. He's long off the tee, and got a pretty complete game, and type of player who plays well in big events. So that would be my guy if you can find it. There are some markets where you can bet each ways. I would take advantage of those. Especially on the guys that we like in the quote unquote outright, but not beating the top guy market. You can usually get a really good number on outrights. I know Bet365 offers that. If you have a buddy who lives in a spot where there's a thing, tell him to do it legally. Don't do it outside of the state lines. That's against the rules. But yeah, each ways. That's a really good way to make a little extra coin on a top 8. Or if you think Scotty's going to finish in the top 5, you may get a little value on, well, not Scotty. I mean, that number is just ridiculous. But Rory, I like the Rory a little bit. Anyway, that's my life.
Heard. All right. Anything else we got, boys, before we wrap this up?
I just want to touch on some guys that you probably don't want to.
You want to touch on some guys?
Yep. Remember the outline said no, it's nothing inappropriate, Jeff. Stop.
How is it inappropriate? It's whatever you're into.
Some guys you might want to fade that do not play here very well. Like we mentioned earlier, Turl Hatton hates the course. Probably never going to play well here. A couple other guys that might be shocking, but Sepp Straka, Max Homa, Sam Burns, none of these guys play very well here. So if you find some guys to match up against them that are good odds, you might want to partake in getting some of those bets in, make some money off of that. Just a thought. And don't put them in your DFS lineups.
Yeah, avoid Tyrell Hatton in your DFS lineup, please, at all costs. All right. Well, listen, boys, it was a pleasure to spend an hour and 20 minutes with you today. Chad, have a great day at work. Paul, have a great day with the little one, and good luck with the house hunting and everything like that. And good luck this week, man.
Yeah, Rom, Tom Kim, Morikawa, Hatton, Denny McCarthy, Chad disagrees, and Brian Harmon. Those are my fates. Thank you for the kind words, Jeff, and 3-time always a pleasure.
And Paul, aren't you on a new show called House Hunters near strip clubs?
Oh my God, what a story! What a story!
We'll have to save that for the old watering hole.
Yeah,
We'll take it easy.
It's
Boys, have a great week. I know this is like our Super Bowl this week, so just enjoy it. Try to take some time off, kick back, put your feet up. Don't let your wife do anything or make you do anything that you don't want to do. And continue to watch golf.
never.
No is in our vernacular this weekend. Okay, you can do it, fellas. Don't worry. All right.
I would do it all day tomorrow.
Boys,
I'm
I
off as well
appreciate it.
tomorrow.
All right, boys.
What?
It's been a pleasure.
All right. Later, Chatty.
So,
Paul,
see
thank
you
you.
later.
Guys, thank you so much. Well, that ends it, Jeff. This is our This is our Super Bowl. Let's have some fun watching this weekend. Sprinkle some shekels around.
Do you have a pick?
I'm going Hideki. Hideki's my pick. That's who I put money on last week. I put her before we even started talking about this. I put my money on him, and then I sprinkled a couple of units on Jason Day.
I'm going Xander.
All right. Well, perfect. Well, that will end it. We're gonna take a little break.
Yeah,
wait till
hopefully
Tyson comes back.
A break so where we can get some food in us.
Yeah.
So whenever Tyson gets back here, and what time do you gotta go to work today?
I will. I leave at 3:10.
Okay. Might be
Start
up on it.
getting ready at 2:30.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. All right. Hey, listen, we appreciate everybody joining in, being in the chat. Justice, Buff, thank you guys so much for blowing everything up. Everybody else who tuned in and gave us a like and a follow. Make sure, share it with your friends, share it with everybody. Make some money this week. Let's go, boys.
Listen to the best golf handicappers in the area. We'll take it and we'll make some money. We'll see you guys in just a little bit. Otherwise, we'll see you next week to recap how we did at the Masters and who won and who made us some money and who lost us some money.
Good luck. Be great.
Stay out of the left lane.